invited a guy down to jiu-jitsu, and I was like, I'm going to smash this guy. He's old. He's like 47, Cop, eats donuts, makes funny videos. Can't be that serious at jiu-jitsu.
I do eat donuts. I had one from the pumpkin patch this week.
Did you?
I didn't even go to the pumpkin patch. That's how lazy I'd become.
I was like, I'm going to
brought it to me. My kids brought it.
The kids brought it from the pumpkin patch?
They went to the pumpkin patch, and they're like, here's a donut.
So I'm going to bring this guy, and I'm like, I'm going to put all my weight on him. I'm just going to put that shoulder pressure and smash him. It didn't work out that way this morning.
You put some pressure on me?
Couldn't get my hands on you, man. No, it was good. Did you have a good time?
I cheated a little bit. Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah?
Dude, I love jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's not a hard sell. Even though you made me get up early in the morning to do it. I'm not a fan of mornings, but I am a fan of jiu-jitsu.
So if I have a shot, it's definitely in the morning.
Yes.
Awesome. Anybody give you any problems? Did you get to roll with everybody?
I think I rolled with everybody.
Yeah.
There was a guy there who had a mustache.
Yes. Brian.
Very quad dominant fellow.
Yeah.
And he had a good stand-up game, good foot trip, caught me with a foot trip.
He's a brown belt in judo.
That makes sense. Yeah.
He's a white belt.
I was feeling him.
He's not supposed to be a white belt.
Yeah,
I don't know why we haven't promoted him yet.
Well, in Nogi, you never know, right?
Yeah.
And when I travel and I drop in at places, I never going hard at strange places is a recipe to get hurt.
Yeah. Because you never know who you're going to deal with.
Don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know, so I play a very relaxed, very slow defensive game, and I feel that person out. And if the role can pick up through, great, cool, But I'm not getting my shoulder torn apart.
That's your
roll
age.
with strangers at 5:45 in the morning.
Seems like
it's really not a lot of benefit in that for me. But anyway, he had you start out slow, you feel it. I'm like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing standing up. I'm like,
I don't stand up.
He tripped me, and I was like, thank God, I'm just down. Now I'm down on the ground. I'll just stay here. And I think I put him in deep half, which is like my old man go to.
Yeah, of course.
Just wait around and survive.
He's got good. He's good, man. He's really good. He's supposed to. I think I don't know what the rule is, but I think that if you're at a certain level at judo, you're supposed to pretty much be a blue belt.
Yeah, I think in IBJJF if you're for sure if you're a black belt in judo, I think you have to compete at a blue belt level.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
But don't quote me on that.
But I mean, he's because they do all judo. You do arm bars and all kinds of other things, and
what you see in the Olympics is an abbreviated version of what a good judo academy would be. Yeah.
So he's his base is very good.
It's one area I want to get better at because I hate wrestling. I don't like wrestling at all, but I like judo. So I like a little bit more of the positioning. I'm not a big.
I mean, I like the concept of it.
You see me doing a double leg. Something's gone wrong already. Why is Mike doing a double leg? I've lost all control at that point because there's no reason in the God's green earth I would do that.
Here's the deal, man. I don't understand. Everybody gives so much shit about pulling guard. So much shit.
Yeah. You need a stand-up game for sure.
Okay, but then I look at I just went to ADCC. Everybody who won, guard puller.
Yeah. Well, they should change that.
See?
They should award even in that first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about ADCC, but I love ADCC rule set. I love it.
Yeah, I like it.
I would make one key change, and that is I would award takedown points in the first 10 minutes. So you can win by submission or points only if the points come from takedown.
Just so that it pushes the aggression.
Pushes
early.
the pace.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way, I think, to advance the sport of jiu-jitsu from a spectator standpoint. And obviously, the spectators are growing, but you were there, right?
Yeah.
Dude, 90% of that crowd trains jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about breaking into the mainstream and actually getting coverage on an ESPN or getting a broader audience like the UFC or something,
it's got to be more dynamic.
Gonna have to push the pace, and people are gonna have to really understand the rules. There's too many little weird things that happen. I don't know if I'm a nerd with this stuff, so I watched almost everything with ADCC. But like AJ Agazarm, his whole fight where he lost and he stood on the mats and refused to leave until he got his 2 points awarded, and it was like a technicality on, well, because this triangle had been done this way, then the points weren't awarded. Even the refs at the time,
I didn't even know.
A point. It was like,
I didn't even know what was going on. I was like, "What is this guy doing?"
Imagine being a spectator and you'd be like, "Well, screw this, man! I can't even understand how you win at this."
Yeah,
and I think that they just need to make things a little bit more clear for the average person and push that pace so that you stand a chance of seeing more submissions faster or more dynamic takedowns.
Yeah,
that kind of a thing. I mean, I have no problem pulling guard. I pull guard all the time.
I'm 40 years old, man. I'm like.
Yeah.
Tyler just had. I told you he just had his ACL surgery.
Yeah,
and he's like, and he did that by he backstepped on a takedown or something with his right leg or something like that, and that's what it popped. Mm-hmm. And he's like, never again, man. I'm fucking done. I'm done.
I don't blame him.
I'll be a bus scooter for life.
That's a young man's game.
Yeah. But the judo thing, man, like that's just, I watched those guys because Brian and some of the other professors in there, and then we have another, I think we have another, Mike's another black belt in judo as well. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I think I told you, I didn't know anything. I didn't know that we had judo guys in there. Mm-hmm. And he did the whole like check your watch thing. So I didn't know. He's just like bringing his arms up. Next thing I know, my feet are like scraping the ceiling of the gym as I'm landing. And I did one of those things where I landed and, you landed so hard that everybody kind of stops rolling and checks to make sure is that guy okay?
Right.
And he's like, okay, he's breathing. Let's continue. But I didn't know. And now I know. But dude, they train that. I'm like, dude, it's just nothing but getting thrown to the ground.
Yeah.
Over and over and not gently.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm okay with just getting thrown on the ground at my age anymore.
But it's I wouldn't say it's an easier skill to learn, but I feel like
over wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling's it's such a grind.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Did you roll with Mike, the guy with the headgear today?
Yeah.
Wrestler.
Yeah.
Probably very apparent.
Yeah, he did a lot of sit-throughs. I had him for the round we were doing turtle.
Okay.
Which was a weird round because I was like, I started on the bottom and I'm like, what am I supposed to do exactly? Because I don't want to be in turtle.
Yeah.
So, it's like, I'm just going to sit away real quick or whatever. And then he was trying to do these sit-throughs repeatedly over and he would just grind, right? Like just move. And I'm like, I thought, yeah, he's got to be a wrestler.
Yeah, if he would have like, he would have given you a problem if he was like passing your guard.
Yeah.
Because they just lock you up and just.
No, he's not passing my guard.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, you're going to have to come back. Mike.
My close guard? My close guard. I should say my close guard.
Okay.
That's my jam, dude.
Yeah, I didn't get out of there.
I'm very confident in my close guard.
What did you say to me? I did something. You're like, that's a stupid pass.
I don't know what I mean, I could have said a lot of things, but yeah.
I was trying to reach around and grab your arm.
Put my hand under my back or something. Like, come on, man. You might as well dig your elbows into my knees next.
You're like, not happening, rookie. Get out of here.
It sounds so cocky to say, but like I just like, and I'm not God's gift to jiu-jitsu by any stretch of the imagination.
No, what did you tell me?
Get my ass kicked.
What did you tell me before you got promoted? You're like, listen, I'm a purple belt. I don't suck at jiu-jitsu.
I don't suck. I'm not. I've never claimed and never will claim to be awesome at jiu-jitsu. I've never come in first in a tournament. I compete like once a year.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. But I
don't suck. I don't suck. Yeah.
My close guard is my best position for sure.
Yeah, that was pissing me off.
So that's why I said I cheated, because I was get you into it.
Yeah,
like I worked to get there.
Yeah,
because I knew that's my best position.
You're like, I'm just gonna lock this guy up in there. Anyways, when did you start?
I started dabbling with jiu-jitsu. I took a handful of classes like 2010, 2011, but I started training in 2012.
When you were still actively a cop, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and from 2012 to like 2017, it was like in runs. So a bad week at work, I don't go at all. Back then, jiu-jitsu, I had very few options locally. Like one, maybe two. And class was like, 3 times a week or 4, whatever it was at 7 o'clock at night. I'm like, well, I work at 7 at night. Usually I did 3 to 7 overtime before it. So I would go to work at 3 in the afternoon and work till 7 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had on my off days. If I didn't pick up overtime, sometimes I would go, so it'd be once a week. And then I would have a stretch where like not a lot of overtime going on and I can make it 3 times in a week, So it was like always up and down, up and down. And then when I stopped working full time and I went to a part-time department, that's when I started training like 4 or 5 times a week.
Did you ever have to use it?
Oh yeah, all the time.
When was the first time that you remember? I mean, it's probably about around the 6-month mark that you probably get your head out of your ass for jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I mean, at least to where you're like something happens and you're like legitimately you can put somebody in side control or mount or whatever. But when was the first time you realized that, oh shit, I can actually like control a human being more effectively than versus ending up in one of your videos that you make fun of?
The first thing that I noticed wasn't really about technique.
Yeah.
I think that has a place, but I noticed that when we were going hands-on with people, I wasn't out of breath. I wasn't stressed out.
You were more confident.
I didn't have the adrenaline shake.
Yeah.
Like you go to arrest some dude and you're just, it's go time. Like he doesn't want to go to jail and you have to take him to jail and you're just doing whatever. And then it's all said and done. And thank God you got 4 more cops to help get him into handcuffs. And then everybody's like, whoa, like this amped up feeling. I started to notice that was diminishing.
Because you're more confident.
Because I'm like, well, this isn't weird anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like that human contact in a combative context.
Yeah, 4 times a week, dudes are sweating in my mouth. This is normal.
This is normal, right? Yeah. Like, yeah. So I just oil checked the bad guy and started complying a lot faster. Yeah. No, I was like, that's what I noticed more than the technique stuff. The technique stuff is like, yeah, it's fine. Like, Kimuras are king in police work for sure.
Yeah.
And it became really readily apparent that even if you train jiu-jitsu, part of the problem is if not a lot of cops are training, and at the time I was definitely the only person in my department training jiu-jitsu. It was like, I remember we were walking a guy trying to get him into a cell in the jail, and where I don't know where he thought where is he going? Like, where the fuck this guy think he's going? Like, he's in the jail. There is no way out.
He was trying to get out.
Yeah, like he's not in a cell yet, but he's in the hall. So there's only no options.
You're here, bud.
Like, he just wanted to fight, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, now that I think about it, like, I think a now cop me would be like, if he pulled away while I was walking to his cell, just be like, I'll just wait here till you come back. What the
There's a gate down there. And
there's a door there that you're not getting through. Yeah. I'll be here. Like,
knock yourself out.
Make a hot pocket while you're over there. I don't know what, because now I wouldn't need to, like, a lot of cops want to, I don't want to say that they're going out of their way to get in fights, but you get excited about the foot chase and catching the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of like,
well, you're sitting around a lot.
Yeah. You don't want things to be bad, but at the same time,
well, it's like
you kind of do. You want the chase.
It's like being on. I don't know. It's like being on watch at war. I would imagine. Like, when we were in Iraq, if you're on like you're doing some OP or you're doing something stupid and you're just sitting around, you're like, damn. Literally, I've heard kids say like, damn, I wish we would just get shot at. Like, this is fucking. This is killing me. Sitting around is killing me. Let's just get in a gunfight or something happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine it's gonna like you're sitting in your car forever.
Yeah, that's 100% true. But we were walking this guy back, and so he starts fighting, and this happens all the time with policing. You got 2 cops, and they each have an arm, and then they start like making a wish with this guy while they're giving him contradictory verbal commands. Get on the ground. Go put your like. I don't even blame the people most of the time. I'm like, well, if you guys wouldn't say 7 different things for this person to do,
this guy is so confused.
Like, I don't blame him at this point, And so it's like, I realized, I'm like, dude, we're working against each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was able to tell my partner at the time, like, hey, just let go. I got it. right? And it was much easier to like get that situation back to the ground.
Yeah.
And then resolve it without conflicting plans when it comes to that. And that's why I say, like, yeah, jiu-jitsu needs to be more pervasive. I think it's super beneficial. The primary benefit being like self-control and ego, right? Because then I also, that's from an individual perspective, but from a departmental perspective, from a policies and procedures perspective, they need to have these guys training together to know how to work 2-on-1, 3-on-1. How do you control a scene effectively with those techniques without stepping on each other and get it resolved as peaceably and as quickly as possible
without actually hurting somebody?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the ego thing, I think it's the thing that keeps cops from training. But it's also really good that when I walk into a house and this guy just got done beating on his wife or whatever it is, and I got to arrest this guy, I also recognize that guy could kick my ass.
Yeah.
Maybe he could. That's part of the thrill of jiu-jitsu too. Like I come into your place this morning and I'm like, will I get my ass kicked today? Will I get smashed, tapped? What? I don't know. But it keeps your ego in check.
Yeah.
Because you're not walking in there like, I'm going to run through everybody. I mean, I guess that could be a mindset, but it's like, you don't know.
You have no idea what you're, yeah.
You keep your ego in check.
Yeah.
I think when you're training the right way anyway. But, and I think that'd be great for cops. Yeah.
So obviously, I'm sure you know about the adoptive cop program, right?
Yeah. Mitch is a great guy. We, Humanizing the Badge, which is now folded into Relentless Defender Foundation from a nonprofit standpoint, support that organization and has been big donors and supporters for.
Yeah, we use
stuff.
We use it down there. We got a handful of cops that are in it.
Our gym, every gym I've ever been a part of or associated with, is super popular in Southeast Michigan. Yeah. So
I know that, was it Jersey? Somewhere up there, they pretty much rolled it out for, I don't think it was New York, but they rolled it out. And I think Georgia too, or maybe Atlanta, made it like a requirement that they're all training.
There are some departments that are choosing to use some type of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu based system for their grappling, their defensive tactics. Yeah, for sure. Which is
you guys up in Michigan now?
There's a lot of Gracie survival tactics going on, and then
it's a start.
Yeah. The last gym that I was at, they have their own. And it's certified by the state. So,
but it's still an individual basis. It's not a department.
Yeah. I mean, we've had departments come in and send guys, but yeah, we've found a greater success rate by offering a consistent weekly free class for cops to come. We run through the curriculum. So if you're there for long enough, you're get a lot of the curriculum. You're doing this at your gym? Not now. I'm going to implement it at our gym, but where my last gym that I came from, I recently switched, but and we butted it up strategically next to a no-gi class.
Nice.
So all they had to do is stay. Like,
hey, you did the intro.
You're already here. Just stay and roll. And
what's the percentage of people that stayed and rolled?
High.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we in the first year of the program, I think we added 12 cops to the membership.
Awesome.
So about one a month plus was transitioning from just that class to trying a regular class and then signing up. And that, honestly, I think it's great to train cops, but the whole cop specific technique stuff, it's necessary, it's helpful. Yeah. But really, I truly think there's a greater benefit to just long-term, consistent training on the mats.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be cop-specific. It's not a hard jump. It's helpful if you have an instructor or somebody that's knowledgeable at your academy to help say, here's what you would do if this or just. But it's not a big jump, really, to go from a regular Kimura to a Kimura to handcuffing. It's not. It's not complex.
Right. So that kind of segues into my thing. Like our last podcast together, or I don't know if it was on mine or when I was on yours. But I asked you about how did you transition out of law enforcement, if you had a rough transition or if it was a good one. You said it was actually a better one, pretty decent. And one of those things was because you had things outside of that. I think that's also outside of just making cops more resilient and more efficient in what they're doing to limit, any sort of bullshit that they'd have to deal with now, especially now. I think it benefits them long run personally.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. You talk a little bit about that, of why that is.
Well, in the law enforcement world, we tend to insulate ourselves with just other cops, especially like if it comes down to the shift level. It's like this is my 4 or 5 guys that I always talk to or whatever. And I think it helps you not only have an outlet that can benefit you on the job, but it also gets you around other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really good. I think that's a good two-way street, because you're getting to be reminded that most people aren't shitbags. You start to see only negative, right?
Oh yeah, I guess, because if you solely surround yourself with that environment,
you work 60 some hours a week where you're going call to call with only negative stuff in the world.
But you hate people.
You start to hate people.
Yeah.
You're like, this world's bullshit. Everything sucks.
Yeah.
And then who are you hanging around? The other 4 or 5 guys that all think the same thing. So you just confirm each other's suckiness, and then you drink. So when you get on the mats, you're reminded, oh, wow.
There's some like really rad people in the world.
Here's these 20 other people that aren't cops, and we're having a good time. And then that's two-way. Those people are like, oh, you're a cop. Huh.
You're not an asshole.
Wow. You're here rolling like the rest of us, and you're actually a really nice guy. Like,
yeah.
And I think that's a good mutual benefit for sure. And I think having that connection and having that was as a consistent thing, I think when you make major life transitions, having something that's consistent,
the same,
that ties them together, is super healthy, and it makes the transition a little bit easier.
You get done, but I'm still doing this thing.
You don't feel like you've totally lost your bearings.
Yeah,
and that's why I went way in on jiu-jitsu in 2017. That's when I was like, I was a quintessential blue belt. I hadn't quit, but I was like, I think a blue belt for I don't know how long, like way long.
Yeah.
And probably like 5 years. And
damn.
Yeah, it was a long time. And so then I went all in on that, because that's what I had. That's the non-law enforcement thing that I had.
Yeah.
So for me, even though I had a lot of change happening in my life during that time, that stayed the same, and I was able to kind of even double down on it and find a lot of joy in doing it.
Awesome. Well, there you go, cops.
Yeah, cops.
Yeah, cops. Go do things. I mean, it comes down to like, the same thing in the military or any job or any career that you do that's kind of like that. Your identity gets wrapped up into what you do.
Yeah, but and I obviously talk about jiu-jitsu a lot, and I do think that at a department level, they should train jiu-jitsu. So I think every cop should train jiu-jitsu. But I think every department should have, like, you should be running people through on shift.
Yeah.
Come into the mats, drop the, you've got your instructor, drop the real gun, put the blue man gun in, and just rep some things. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Just
not
quick.
Not going to change anything.
Quick, do this, all that, like, train, that's fine. But even if cops don't want to do jiu-jitsu as like their hobby, and I get that, well, you got to find something, do something.
Yeah.
And if you're going to pick a softball league, don't pick a cop softball league. Meet other people, man. Like, get out there and
it's just going to benefit them long. I mean, it's the same in the military. The guys that have something outside of their community, they just do better because I think I didn't really think about it that way, but that's the consistency. So your whole life changes, except a portion of it doesn't. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's changed, but on these nights, I'm still doing the same shit I've always done for the last X amount of years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not, it doesn't feel as, you're not just like cut off from the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you, and now what are you doing now?
Lots of things.
Yeah, we just talked about it.
We just talked about it.
We don't have to open it up, but we just spent a half day doing a one-on-one coaching day, and Mike's talk about your $12,000 burrito.
$12,000 burrito. I can't wait to make that video now.
It's gonna be a good video.
Pretty stoked about
Go
it.
follow Mike the cop. He's gonna make a $12,000 burrito. But no, we talked about leveling up and changing some things, and he's got some good things. But really, man, I mean, your morals and the things that you're passionate about very much align with myself. Mm-hmm. At one point, I got choked up because you were telling me something. I was like, damn, you got me in my heart, man. And what was it? You were talking about, spending time with your sons.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Taking your sons camping or doing some,
Yeah, anything. Doesn't matter.
Boy things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just super important, man. Anyways, let's talk about things that men are struggling in, and I guess a little bit about what you don't have to talk about what you're building, but just what you like to offer the world. Because for so long you made funny videos, which are hilarious. Probably one of my funniest ones was the Russian stairs. I don't know where you got
That's
what.
So funny. That's funny. I had a blast making that video, and
How bad did that hurt?
It sucked. It was not pleasurable, but it's what's funny is we were in the basement of some 3-story office building, right?
Yeah.
And there was a guy with a Primerica office, a friend of mine to this day. And so he's got this Primerica office in the basement of this building. He's got the whole basement.
Yeah.
And he rents me this room. And all of the Mike the Cop business happened in one room. And it was, maybe from your elbow over. And this was the podcast. It was everything. Everything happening here. My son had a desk right here with his computer. I would sit over there, and it was like
a closet, essentially. Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. But it was like $200 a month. So I was like, sweet, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so here I am with getting these guns for this video, and I'm like, and people, this is a public place, so people are coming in and out, and I'm like literally like going down the stairs while like people are opening. I'm like, oh, pause. I'm like, I gotta kind of like hide the gun, like, hello.
Just being silly in here.
No worries. Don't kick me out.
A couple of grown-ass men being ridiculous.
I'm trying not to get my buddy in trouble. Like, why you can't rent to somebody that's like bringing guns in and out of here. And like, I'm trying to but that was a fun video. Yeah.
So anyways, for a long time, you made funny videos.
Yeah.
You still make funny videos. But you kind of like, as you've gotten older and the things that you've seen, especially in the last 2 years, I'd say you're becoming more passionate about some serious issues that you're seeing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you've got a great, the guy you got 4 grown kids, have families of their own. You're a grandpa. What do they call you again?
They just call me Paw.
Paw.
I call it Grand Possum.
Grand Possum.
Yeah.
That's a good shirt. But yeah, so you've done a great job, man. They're all like pretty successful young people. And in this day and age, that's a feat, man.
Yeah, they're not slouches. I'm proud of that fact.
And you got a great relationship with all. That's awesome. Yeah. It's amazing to watch. Anyways, over the last couple of years, all the stuff that's going on, you've been pretty vocaler about what's been going on in the world, to the point that it's probably hurt your pocketbook a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to do that sound demonetized.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
Yeah. No love for Zuckerberg or any of his cronies, huh?
No, man. I need to get him in my clothes guard. And see how he's doing with his jiu-jitsu these days.
I think he's an MMA guy now. So apparently
I'll punch him.
You punch him.
I'll do MMA.
Do it.
Actually, I won't. I don't want to break my hands. I would just slap him. I just
just go combat jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Maybe some elbows.
Elbows are fine. Knees are fine. Open hand slaps. They're more insulting anyway.
Yeah. Tyler just sent me this thing. I guess there was an interview with Barbara Walters and Sean Connery talking about slapping. He's like, there's an interview that you said that sometimes a woman needs to be slapped with an open hand. And then he's like, yeah. and then he doubled down on it and he explained, he's like, well, women do this thing and this thing. They push. And sometimes you just have to. And he doubled down and she goes, oh, you're going to get some mail after this interview. And he's like, yeah, probably some female. I'm like, well, geez, dude. Anyways, so shit's gotten more serious for you a little bit.
Yeah, life's different, Life's completely different now than it was in 2014 when I started blogging or whatever and eventually making videos and all that stuff.
How is it different to you?
Because that stuff was it was half personal, half for everybody else. It was a way for me to laugh and have fun, in a crazy job, and then when people started saying, "Dude, we show your videos at roll call to laugh," or we'll circle up cars and do this, or they showed your video in the police academy today to tell us what not to do and stuff like that.
Oh, I heard about that. It was like one of your videos was actually ended up in like a training seminar, right?
Yeah, like what not to do, like how not to be as a person, probably.
See this guy? Don't be like this guy.
I'm not admin's favorite poster child, but yeah, so that jazzed me up. I'm like, well, I'm enjoying it, and it's helping people.
Yeah,
they're getting a kick out of it. It's giving them a break. It's making them laugh. And yeah, it was. I never set out to do it as a business. For me, it was just like, I started on. Do you remember Periscope?
Yes.
That is really where I started. I found out about Periscope.
Really?
The greatest video I've ever made did not save on Periscope. I didn't know how to save it.
It's gone.
Dude, we got called back to the station. My sergeant, so we have like MDTs, right? Mobile data terminals, or the computers in the car.
Okay.
Just get a message that pings. All cars like return to the station immediately. I'm like, shit. Like
everybody's
got to like, boom. So, we're putting our lights on. We're like, shit, something must be going down in the lobby. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, we zip back there, dude. I walked in. We bust into the back of the station, and in our roll call room, I walk in and I see my sergeant. He's got a riot helmet on, and he's holding a big wooden old school riot stick, and I'm like, what the fuck, Sarge? And he's like, there's a bat in the station. And then just then he's like, ah! He's screaming and like trying to knock this bat out of the air. And pretty soon we all have like riot gear trying to kill this bat out of the air. And it was live. I was filming live on Periscope. And I just had carried my phone with me. And then I didn't know how to save it. I think you could, but then like I didn't have it. I'm like, that was the greatest moment of that video would have been like so ultra viral even today. Yeah. And I missed it. I didn't save it. But I started on Periscope because usually about like 3 or 4 in the morning, you had stacked your calls, you had reports to write, all that stuff. And I just popped the phone in the middle.
Yeah.
And my partner, who I called Officer Butthurt because he never wanted to be on camera. So I just called him Officer Butthurt. And everybody knew who he was a kind of a character, even though he was never on camera.
Never on camera, but everybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Butthurt doing? No, he's sitting over here being a bitch or whatever. You know what I would say? Like, and I would just be like pecking out my reports, telling people about the calls for the night or whatever else. That's how I started. So like for me, it was like just a way to blow off steam.
Yeah.
And then when the feedback started coming, and I was like, this is pretty cool, man. Like people are enjoying this. So, but then as I shifted away from the cop world, the further I get away from it, the less I think about it.
Of course.
In terms of like, it was easy for me to come up with an idea
when you're in it
for a video when every shift gave me an idea for a video.
Yeah.
But, and it was okay at first, but eventually it's like, I'm waking up thinking about where am I going in life? I'm not a comedian. I'm not going a stand-up comic route. I'm like, that's not who I am.
Right.
And I'm like, I guess I can be funny because I'm a sarcastic asshole, but I never acted in these things. I just was myself, you know?
Right.
And there's no money in that.
But like in reality, like I've spent some time with you. Like you are funny, but you're actually a very serious person.
Yeah.
You know, and you talk about very serious things.
Yeah.
You know.
So, and that was kind of like what set me apart from a lot of the people that came on the scene doing like cop content. Is like I wanted to talk about more serious things at times, and as I've gotten further away from policing, now I've come to a point where I'm like, man, my mindset now is like, how can I help people who are still on the job in a way that I wish I would have had a voice helping me.
Right.
And then how can I help guys who are transitioning away from this job at record numbers? How can I help them in that transition because I've been through it? And then how can I help people think about their future?
Yeah.
Because a lot of cops don't think beyond retirement, or their retirement goals are dumb.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, they all do the same thing. They move to Florida and become security guards.
And then die 5 years later.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, is that really what you want with your life, you know?
Well, let's get into that.
Nothing against security guards and nothing against Florida. I'm just saying, like, dude, I mean, come on. What do you want to do with your life?
So I was, I told you I went and did an 8-hour leadership seminar with all the chiefs in Oregon. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I didn't know up until this time. The average lifespan for a cop that retires is 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bad.
What the hell, man? What a waste.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's kind of two things that should wake us up to. One is a radical shift in how we structure police careers. Should wake us up.
Right.
Because human bodies are not designed to do this job for that long. And then two is how to shift cops' mindsets for life after policing.
Yeah.
To see beyond the end of their badge.
So you get a guy, he comes up, he's like, hey, Mr. Edwards, I'm all jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do?
Depends what's jacking him up.
He's still active. He's got a family. He's just, just in the rut of doing his calls.
Yeah.
Doing his routine, his schedule, whatever shift he's on.
Yeah.
He's got a family and kids. He's just.
Yeah, that cop has to figure out what it is he really wants, And we all have this hierarchy of wants, I think.
Yeah.
Right? I want to lose weight. Okay. But I also want to eat pizza. A lot of pizza. You're like, what are you talking about? Like a couple slices a week? No, I want to eat it a lot. Okay, well, which do you want more is the question, right?
Yeah.
We can say a lot of things that are all true. I may want a better marriage. I may want to be a better dad. I may want to I may want to cut my body fat percentage in half. I could want a lot of these things, and I can genuinely mean it when I say it. But what I'm leaving out is the problem. What do I really want more? What am I putting ahead of that I really want? Because that's where that person's going to have to pull their head out of their ass and understand what it is that they really want. Like what got them there. And then let's identify what it is you really want, and then get honest about it, and then start doing the things that are going to get you there. Mm-hmm. That's, that could be a lot
whatever
of things,
that is.
Whatever that is, I mean, there's another kind of jacked up, which is like, I'm struggling to want to stay on this earth. There's that kind of jacked up, which is above my pay grade on some level. But
yeah, you told me that, because we were asking, we were talking about business and we're talking about a lot of different things, and emergencies popped up. And I said, oh, speaking of emergencies, what is the suicide rate for law enforcement officers?
Yeah, it's It's more than double the amount killed in the line of duty.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're killing ourselves more than other people, for sure.
That's
what we know about.
Yeah,
That's
right.
What we know about, because a lot of times, like, I can think of two right off the top of my head where the news story was died in their sleep. Well, I mean, if you mean like a permanent sleep that they caused themselves, then yes, it's definitely while they were sleeping. Like, it just didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Like, they just make shit up because they don't want to. You got a guy that served for 20 years in his community who offs himself in his garage.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to tell the community he offed himself in the garage. So
looks bad on them.
he passed away in the nighttime hours, and that's it. No details, just kind of like
41 years old.
like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. So you can kind of tell when you hear about it, and there's not a lot of details, like what it probably is.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for the families for a whole bunch of reasons, but departments are really bad. I actually have a buddy of mine that's trying to work with departments on how to properly handle the fallout from that, from like a don't shy away from it perspective. Like, how do you handle the funeral there, or still pay respect? Because they'll, what they served 16 years, 18 years of their life they gave to this job, and then like it's just kind of shoved away. I don't think that's good for the family either. They still need to be able to recognize what was done or what was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a problem, man, for sure.
Well, get some help, man.
Yeah.
Don't be an island to yourself, right?
Yeah, for sure.
This is the thing that kills me, man. You know what really grinds my gears, Mike? These guys, and I deal with it in the veteran. Yeah, honestly, at this point now, I deal it with in the male arena, like men in general.
Yeah,
men in general that are struggling with whatever. Okay, addiction to whatever, alcohol, drugs, whatever. And they hit me up, and I'm talking to them, and they're like, "Well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get help, or I don't want to admit that I have a problem because I don't want to be weak."
Yeah.
What? So just sticking with the problem that makes you strong.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
Where does this mentality that, hey, I'm an alcoholic, and I admit that I'm alcoholic, that's admitting that's showing people that you're weak.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because the reality is that when you can live on Front Street with people, that's really empowering.
Right.
Because nobody can take anything from you.
Nothing.
There's nothing you can't. What are you gonna?
It's like trying to blackmail you
say to me
for
or
something.
do to me.
Yeah.
Because it's already out there.
Yeah.
When you put something from being hidden into the light, there's nothing left to worry about.
I just think it takes balls because, like, in one of our businesses with the training and mindset and mentorship, the guys hit me up. I made that video, pissed a lot of people off, talking about how you're selfish if you have type 2 diabetes and you're overweight and you're the single family, breadwinner for your family.
It's 100% true.
And the way that happened was I talked to a guy who was over 300 pounds. I think he had four to six kids, something crazy. And wife stayed home. His wife stayed home. She's a stay-at-home mom. And his job is what provided for the family. And I hit him up and I said, at lowest tier, here's the lowest tier coaching program. We need to get you fit, man. Like, he's having all kinds of issues, right? Mm-hmm. High blood pressure, diabetes, like bad. And he's like, oh man, I can't afford it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, you're going to die. You literally told me that. Like, you messaged me and said, yeah, I need to get right. I'm going to die. No, I can't afford it. Right. Like, you can't not afford it. Mm-hmm. I mean, put your kids on the phone. Let me talk to your wife. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to get you in a program now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what triggered the video. And then, so my point being is that with strength is these guys messaged me and I tell them straight out, they're like, hey, that's me. I'm that guy. I need help. So the fact that you like admit that and message some random stranger on the internet,
right?
That takes balls.
Yeah.
That takes that's true courage, you know, going into, you know, an in-treatment processing for being alcoholic or, you know, drinking too much or drugs or whatever. That takes strength. That's not weakness.
Right.
That's like an extreme amount of humility and putting your ego aside.
Yeah.
To get better. I think that's what actually is courage. Rushing under the rug or acting like there's no problem, you're being a bitch.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fear. You know, what it is that they fear. They fear being less liked by their peers. They fear being seen as a failure. They might fear some things. Obviously, like fear in some sense is an illusion. And kind of undercover. I really like how you, in our conversation today, and I'm going to straight up use it.
Steal that shit, Mike.
But why?
Yeah, why?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I wanna look better naked. Okay, why? Because I would have a greater level of self-confidence. Why do you want a greater level of self-confidence? You're like just pushing. And I think you can do that in reverse with fear too.
Yeah.
As we're kind of like talking this to him, like, what are you afraid of, man?
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid of that people are going to judge me.
Why?
Why are you afraid of people judging you? Well, because, you know, I don't want admin to cut me off from my job if I need help. Okay. Well, why are you afraid of getting cut off from your job? If you could have this and it cost you your job, but you could save your life with it, would it matter?
Yeah. Or your family?
Yeah. You know, so it's like getting.
What's
getting
the divorce?
to the
What's the divorce rate in law enforcement?
God, I have no idea.
It's got to be astronomical.
I know several cops that have had several wives.
Yeah. Right.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a trope at this point. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if it's any statistically. I mean, what marriage stays together anymore? I don't know.
Yeah.
These days.
This one for me.
There you go.
She ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, bitch.
Crazy.
You're staying at the house.
Crazy how it's just a decision, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that the reason why that I asked that question and I pushed it so deep is because if you're going to become a better version of yourself, you have to know the real reason why, because shit's going to get hard.
Yeah. It's
going to get uncomfortable.
It always does. And you were talking about this. The guy that runs Johnny Slicks, his name's Johnny, right?
Yeah, Johnny. Yeah.
You were talking about this, about how it seems like when you start going after something,
yeah,
shit gets in the way, dude. Like
100%.
It's a guaranteed. Like
you can bet if you could bet on it.
It is freaky, isn't it?
Yes,
it is freaky.
Yeah,
the
man.
minute you set out, it's like I'm doing this.
I'm pumped. I'm doing it.
You walk outside and your car's under a tree. What the? Well, now I can't go do the thing I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
It's like, well, buddy, go find a bus.
Yeah.
Leave your car there. Deal with the insurance later. Get the fuck on the road, man. And because it happens all the time. Even committing to this, it was like, of course I go to the dentist and he does whatever to my freaking teeth, and all of a sudden I feel like my head's gonna pop off.
Yeah.
And I had a choice. Do I text Nick and be like, hey, my teethers hurt. I can't come to jujitsu. I'm like, no, and I can't do that. I said I was going there, and I could be like, my jaw will be half off. I will be there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
What are you doing with did you come to do this coaching and get better? Yeah, but it never fails. Even something little like that. Something
so small.
Always pops.
And it's funny because I watch it. So say you're going to go, do a conference. You're going to go do a speaking engagement. You're going to get paid a lot of money. Or it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever the thing is that you're going to level up your game, your life, lose weight, make more money, date the woman of your dreams. You finally got some shit is about to go sideways.
You're about ready to get IBS on the night of that date.
Yeah. Something weird is about to happen. But I think that's, I don't know how much you've looked at the law of averages and mediocrity and that, but I think the talking about that particular conversation, it's like the universe wants you to be in the flock.
Yeah, I don't
go back into the herd. Don't step out of your lane.
Yeah.
And when you do, you're gonna meet some resistance.
How do you when you look at the personality tests, and there's a lot of them out there or whatever, but in general, you've got sort of like your dominant, then you've got
the DISC profile.
The DISC profile.
I'm a fan of that one.
An S is 70% of the population, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that can shift?
Do you think that they can change? Like, do you think?
How do you coach an S? That the gravitational pull of just going along to get along is sort of like personality.
So it comes down to wants and desires, and typically an S doesn't have a lot of those. They're very content with, their situation, but it comes down to this: they can change. So like, I'll use Johnny for an example. When he was a high I and C, right? When he first started, he was young. I think when we partnered, he was like maybe 24. He might have started when he was 23. Wow. Yeah. And so obviously very inexperienced, served in the Marine Corps, so he had done some things.
That'll age you.
Yeah, right. That'll age you. And so, he had some experience. He had traveled overseas, that sort of thing. But in business and trying to do things, he was still very inexperienced and young. And he was very high, and high I and C. And over the years, because of me pushing him in business and him having to deal with problems and employee problems and different things like that, he became more of his D became more prominent. Because he got busier, he got kind of addicted to success and growth in the business and growth in himself. So he had less time for bullshit. So he started to get a little more direct. And it was funny. It was like he turned into, he was an ick and turned into a dick.
Nice.
So I think it can bring up other personality traits as you grow, and not only that, but as you grow. Like, think about your personality at 21 versus, your mid 40s now. Mm-hmm. Different.
Yeah.
So our experiences, change us. But going back to your question, how do you coach an S? You sit down and you say the same thing. You're like, hey, what are your priorities in life? What does your day look like? What do you want out of this life?
Yeah.
What are your goals? And then what are you doing to get them? Because they're not going to happen by themselves. And I think a lot of times that's what the issue is they have these goals and they expect, they're just literally goals. It's like a wish. We need to change the word from goals to objectives. Because an objective, even in law enforcement, right, you can create a plan, a phase line approach to accomplishing an objective, vice a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Maybe it's easier to coach S's because S's because they go along to get along, you can be like, do this.
And then, so like with Rebecca,
with a D, they're going to be like, yeah, but what about all these other things?
Yeah, that's like me.
Push back.
Yeah, that's me, 100%. It's funny. One of my first business coaches, I pushed back a little bit, and he was just like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, he's like, "You're paying me." He's like, "Do whatever the fuck."
No, you're not. You're paying me now. I'm coaching you.
But I did, and just because that's and he, a good coach is going to understand the personalities and know how to work with that. But like with Rebecca, our operations officer for all the companies, essentially, she's so like once you get her to buy in on something, and you teach that routine and that schedule. Hey, this is good for you. This is how you. Now it's almost like a crutch. Now I can't get her to adjust. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it like that same personality, they're so regimented that it's like, no, you said I got to do this every single day at this time. That's non-negotiable. Yeah. Like, zero flexibility.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know what I mean? So you got to play. So now it's like, now that I've got her like that, now I've got to be like, okay, also, yes, you did all that, but you also have to be able to adjust and pivot when you need to. You know what I mean? So it's, but that's all the process, right? Growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens over long. It continues to happen. We're still here. You and I are both, we're in our 40s and we're still figuring shit out.
Yeah, I don't ever see myself like
peaking,
retiring. You know, like I just like keep on going.
Yeah, when are you gonna retire, Mike? When are you gonna hang it up?
Go collect shells on the beach? I don't know. No, I don't. It's just like I'll always have to have my hand at something. I'll always have to be doing something.
Yeah, something.
Even if it's just trying to roll with my grandkids on the mats or something like that.
Wouldn't that be awesome if you could promote your grandkids?
That'd be great, actually.
Yeah.
And we'll see if I can. My grandson Judah, he was keyed in on ADCC.
Really?
Yeah, he's 3.
3?
And he was like, we caught him like he's in the living room like little playing, you know.
Yeah.
And we would like, and he's catching, he's just staring at it, and
Bro,
I'm like, ooh.
I
like it.
Dimitri's locked in, bro.
Really?
Oh, at 2 years old, he watches people roll, and he's like, and then he gets on the mats and rolls around and like does some of the things that he's been seeing at 2 years old.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I would have had all my kids try jiu-jitsu, but they were older when they did it.
Yeah.
So they were
you started older.
Yeah. So they were to a point to where they dabbled. My youngest stayed with it still to this day. And
where's she at?
What do you mean?
What belt is she at?
She's about ready to get her purple.
That's amazing.
Soon, I think. I don't know. She's been training for a while.
How old is she?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Badass,
19
man.
in December. So I read something the other day about a study that was done, and a guy like raised his daughters to play chess. Like everything in their rooms was like chess art, and it was just part of what they did, and they all became like grandmaster level chess players because that's just the water that they swam in, right?
Like
and so
kind of like the King Richard method.
Yeah, can I control my grandchildren's future to be grapplers? I don't know, and this is an experiment that I may conduct. I don't know. I'll let you know.
You think you should do it? You're like, instead of taking them to like go get, like grandpa's taking them out the candy, you're taking your kids jiu-jitsu class.
Right.
That's what you do in retirement.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I can't stand kids jiu-jitsu, dude. This is like the fear of ever owning a gym, because I filled in, and I took her name's Andrea, Coach Andrea. She does the kids classes, and I like, the typical saint images, with the position of blessing, that kind of thing, the halo on the I took her face and like photoshopped it on there after I did I did 2 kids classes back to back, like the youngest ones, and then like
the littles.
I was like, I will never again do this. And then I did it one more time, and then I'm just like, I'm not made for this.
I'm so glad that you said that, because so Marv this morning, he's one of our kids class instructors. He kills it.
It sounds like if he took 40 some kids to compete,
almost 50, and they just crushed.
Yeah, our kids go to competitions and they clean house.
Clean house, bro.
But God bless Coach Andrea.
Yeah.
It's like I am not made for that. I need like high school and above. I'm good.
So he was sick. And Tyler calls me. He's like, hey, I need you to step in for the littles. I'm like, oh my God. What's on the syllabus?
Is that like age 4 to 6?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And I do the teens. I can do the teens. I like that. I like.
Yeah, teenagers. Give me, even for jiu-jitsu, I could do junior high and above.
And I've got kind of a heart for teenagers, because I was, troubled teen myself, and had 2 felonies by the time I was 13.
Out there causing problems.
Causing problems. So I understand like the importance of, positive role models in that area, right? Even if there's just one. And I had some, right? And the ones that I had made a huge impact in my life. So I know the importance of that. Anyway, so he's like, hey, I need you to step in for the littles. And at first, nobody showed up. Thank God some mom showed up that was like white belts or whatever. Just somebody that could help. Anyways, bro, I'd never been so like fiberglassed. Like that was the most I cannot tell you how uncomfortable I was. I missed things, and it was just horrendous. And the kids were looking at me like, "You're an idiot."
Dude,
and then one mom was like, Nick, hey, Coach Nick, can they get some water? I'm like, oh yeah, These are 4-year-olds, and they're like
Dude.
dripping sweat. And
I'm like, I apologize to the parents afterwards. First of all, there's parents that dropping their kids off like it's daycare. They're gone. I don't even know where they're at.
I wish ours would do that.
Then I walk in the hallway. I'm like, hey guys, I'm sorry if your kids hate me. I'm like, because I had a little girl. She's like dancing around like a freaking frog or something. I'm like, if you're not gonna do jujitsu, you can sit down. Like, I'm here to teach jujitsu, man. They're like, we can want to play a dodgeball. I'm like, dodgeball?
Yeah, because they play games.
What are you talking about, kid?
I'm here to train.
This is jujitsu. Like, why? I'm looking at these parents. I'm like, damn it, man. Take your kids to dodgeball class. Don't take them to jujitsu. Like, this is for
they
jujitsu.
do that. They do tug of war. They play dodgeball.
No.
Not in Coach Edwards' class.
And then I have no tolerance for I just have no. My threshold for stupidity is so low, dude. And I'm just
They're 4, Mike.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They need a 4-year-old level of intelligence. Stupidity is not allowed at any age.
Your professor's like, yeah, Coach Mike, you are no longer teaching the kids.
Yeah, the kids are like, when's Coach Andrea coming back? I'm like, not soon enough. Not soon enough. For all of us.
Anyways, they were like, yeah, it's good for you, Nick. You need to do that more often. And I honestly do need to, because Dimitri will be 4 in like less than 2 years. And we're going to start him at 4.
Yeah.
So I've got to get my shit together. I got less than 2 years to get my shit together. I'm just going to try to do what Marv does, man. Like, as soon as he came in, so he came back.
It's a gift, dude.
Oh, my God.
Gift.
He got all of their attention.
Yeah.
They did exactly what he said. And I was just like, I fucking quit.
Don't know what it is, and I don't care enough to find out. I guess.
But
somebody's got, I'm sure it's reverse engineerable. Like,
yeah.
What approach is he taking to have their undivided attention?
And they love him.
Yeah,
they love him.
Well, they just like drawn to this person. Don't know what it is. Don't want it.
Well, unfortunately, I got to figure it out. So, anyways, all right. So that's Mike's retirement plan. He's gonna retire and teach kids jiu-jitsu.
maybe I'll be so softened up.
No,
by the time I'm 85.
I think you should just stay exactly the way you are.
It's probably more acceptable to be an asshole if you're 85.
100%. What are you going to say to him?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Oh, he's 85. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He came in here on a walker and then pulled guard.
Humor the man.
He put his walker up and crawled over onto the mats.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so, but now, man, you're like real estate. 10-7 project.
Yeah.
And still making funny content.
Not as often. It's fewer and further between.
Nobody sees it anyway. You
Yeah,
got it all blocked anyway, so
yeah.
Nobody sees it. You have to you have to dig.
2% of my audience sees anything that I post. I get messages from people like, how come you don't post anymore? Like, I posted 17 times this week, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
it's there. You got to go look at it.
I don't know, man. I can't tell you what Instagram's doing or why YouTube does this.
Well, it's because you have to like Biden, bro.
Yeah.
If you like Biden and like Zuck, your floodgates will open.
Yeah, maybe if I met Biden in person, all my opinions would change. Maybe.
That'd be a funny conversation. I wish you could interview him.
Yo. You and me both. I don't think it would last very long. I think his handlers would end that very quickly.
Oh my gosh, what a buffoon! So, I think that's why have you been blocked so much on social media and demonetized?
Man, there's no doubt about it. I pushed the envelope on a lot of different things. Language. Images. If there's a rule, probably I broke it.
I gotta look. Is there anything that's still up?
Of what?
That you've been like, oh, there you go. You're number 1.
Well, at least you can find me. For a while, I wasn't even searchable.
That's a good one.
That's old. I found that I was emptying out like photos on my phone, trying to free up space the other day because I was getting full. And I was like, oh, man, I haven't posted that meme in a while. So, yeah, it's memes that get me in trouble. I got in big trouble January 6th, dude.
So it's not really your videos. It's the other stuff that you're posting that's getting you in trouble.
Yeah, it's usually memes that get me in trouble. memes or words.
This is incorrect, by the way. They say that's not real.
It's real.
It's real?
It's real.
But the fact checker says it's false.
Fact checkers are wrong.
So anyways, January 6th, what happened January 6th?
I posted a meme of someone scaling the Capitol wall, and it was on the bottom. It had Jeff Goldblum's character from Jurassic Park saying, "You did it, you son of a bitch! You actually did it," or whatever, from the Jurassic Park movie. And yeah, that got me banned for a while on Facebook.
That was it?
Yeah, man.
That's weak.
That was like I know, but that's what they do. It's like anything that I do. And then some people don't realize how, I'm not kidding when I say from 2018 to 2020, I was banned on Facebook for 18 months. So, but people are like, well, you still posted. No, I was posting through my kids' accounts who are admins on my page.
You found a workaround.
Yeah, it's a little loophole. So I could keep posting content on Mike the Cop. Now I couldn't advertise. I couldn't do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it kept the account alive or whatever.
So your predominant things, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, those are your three. Oh, yeah. TikTok too.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to TikTok. I'm like, oh, I'll remember like every couple of weeks that I have TikTok, and I'm like, oh, I'll just take this reel and post it on TikTok.
You had 600,000 people on TikTok?
I had a lot of people at one point.
And you nuked it?
Yeah, I deleted it.
Why? Because
my kids told me my videos were cringe.
And you let them talk you into?
Dude, I hate being that guy. I don't want cringe content. I was like, fuck it. I just deleted it.
600,000 followers.
If my kids don't like my content, I don't want it.
Really that bad, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But I know the game. I can take an account and grow it on any platform. But it's like, so I did. I went back and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make sure I'm not trend following. That was what got me the cringe factor, was trying to follow TikTok trends.
Yeah.
That's what did me in with the kid, because they were right to call me out on it. 100% right. I was in the wrong. So I'm glad that I rebuilt it, and now I'm proud of my TikTok. However many followers I have on there, I'm proud of it.
4. Me and the 4 of you.
I'm proud of it.
Oh, man. Well, it's all Mike's gonna start talking about some serious shit though, right?
Yeah, man. I think that hopefully what is sarcastic in me and things that I do find funny, I can still share that authentically.
Yeah.
You know, as it comes. Not because I'm trying, but because it just happens. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on right now. Dude, cops are taking a beating from every direction, and
in their own house.
Yeah, man, and from themselves. Like they're dooming themselves. They're dooming themselves. There's a lot of negativity in the job. A lot of negativity.
Yeah, and
if we can help, kind of like put a light at the end of the tunnel and turn it on, and be like, hey, just come this way, and figure out how to be at your best. You know, I would love to see cops being at their best. Yeah,
you and I were kind of talking about it, because when I first started creating content, it was for my first business, very tactical and military and mindset, you know, and some of the same trending, some trending nonsense and things like that. But as I got older, kind of like you, I started noticing more serious issues, and I got older, and honestly, for me, I got healthier. I grew a lot. I changed a lot. And so my content changed. Not everybody liked that.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to go more towards long form content, these kind of conversations, talking about men and, being good husbands and being good fathers and making money and, the things that are, if I talk about the success matrix, right? Like hitting all the wickets of success, because you can't have one. Some people think like, oh, if you're wealthy, you're successful. No.
Yeah. You
can be wealthy and miserable.
Yeah. I've met a few people that are like that.
Yeah. Like their wife doesn't like them. They don't have any, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I've
known a lot of people that are super happy at their home life, but they can't live out any of the things that they would enjoy doing with the family because they're broke.
Yeah. It's like, that's not successful.
It's like, well, I mean, Yeah, you don't chase it. I don't know who. Maybe there's some people that chase money for money's sake. Money's just a tool, though. You know what I'm saying?
It's a tool for freedom.
It's a tool. Yeah, it's not. It's
it gives you the ability to do things.
You got to have a bigger why than money for sure.
Yeah, and do things that can help people. Like you want to help people. You want to change people's lives. It's going to take money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, so I did the same thing. Like my content changed and my views went down, but I don't really care because the fewer people that I'm reaching now is more impactful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
You know, I want you to do EDC content. I don't give a shit.
I would love. It'd be so awesome if there was a way to like send a message to every person that follows me. It says, "Hey, here's where I'm going. If you don't want to go there with me, just hit the unfollow button, man."
Yeah, deuces.
Like I would rather that number be realistic.
Yeah.
You know,
instead of
inflated all over the place or
who even knows what the number
what the real is.
The real
because for a while, like Facebook, they counted a video view. If anybody viewed it for like more than 1.5 seconds, it counted as a view or something like that. It's like
that's not real.
Well, you got 10 million views, and then when you look at the stats, then the amount of people that actually watched the whole video is like minuscule. You know, like, out of 1 million views, it was like 2,500 people watched all 4 minutes of it. Yeah, you know, it's like,
but those are the people that matter.
Those are the people that matter, and that's how I view like where I'm going next in I guess my social media career as it was is I'm sifting. Yeah. I want to whittle that down to those that
raise their hand.
It's going to matter to.
Yeah.
You know, and that way, I want to move digital to analog. I really believe that the people that will be the most successful in the next 3 to 5 years in general are people who will move from digital to analog.
What does that mean?
It means connecting with as many people as you can beyond social media, turning that into real world connections. Yeah. Right. So we talked about the 10-7 project and the agents we have in there. I'm personally connected to them. I'm talking to them on the phone. Yeah. I know about things that are going on in their lives. You know, they are getting to know me as a person, right? Like, and that all happened from social media. But the best way to use social media is to move things from digital to analog. Yeah. And I've been encouraging people just as a general practice to do that on their personal Facebook. Like start having things at your home. Do some community group stuff to where it moves people from just this digital space into an analog space. Like we just weren't made for this, man. We weren't made for only digital stuff. That's why this is cool because we've gone from digital
to
analog.
Yeah.
And that moves.
And what's interesting is we have so much more in common than we really realized because of that.
Yeah.
Because you can only take it at such a level.
Yeah, you can only do so much with a digital relationship. So I'm very grateful for social media. I think it's a fantastic tool, but I think people
I met my wife through Instagram.
We can't turn it into the end. It's just like chasing money. Yeah. Money's a means to an end. Digital social media needs to be a means to an end. How do we use this and not be used by it? You know, I think that's the great challenge of our time.
Yeah. Well, that goes into like you're plugged into the system or you're using the system as a tool. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people are just plugged into the system. They're just plugged into the matrix, getting the download. Yeah. You know, I want to use the system for good. And that's why, like, you know, say I have 100, it's strange. I've had exactly 102,000 followers for quite some time. Yeah. Even though my inside algorithm says I'm reaching like lots of people.
Yeah.
But nothing's changed.
Yeah. How is it that I've reached 500,000 people a month for 2 years and nothing's growing? It's weird.
It's strange.
Yeah.
But I don't really care. I care about if you come down to it, I care about the 200 people that go, hey man, I want to change my life or I want to engage with you on an analog level, like you said, and really I want you to make an impact in my life, or you are making an impact in my life because of X, Y, and Z. Those are the people I care about.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
The haters and all. I got so many haters. I love it.
They're dumb.
I love it. No, I got guys.
They help us grow.
I know. I got guys that literally, if I post something, they respond within like 5 minutes. So like, you're like my biggest fan.
Thank you for allowing me to live rent free in your brain.
Yeah, like you're my like. They're like, you're stupid or whatever. Like, I wake up at 5 every morning. One guy goes, Jocko wakes up at 4:30. Okay,
Cool.
He's on the West Coast, so actually I'm awake before he is. I don't ever say anything, but
You need to post a black and white picture of your watch and be like, I'm up 3 hours before Jocko. Every day.
Every day. Yeah. 2.5 hours every day. I'm awake. Just throw his face.
I'm waiting for you, Jocko. Your move. He's gonna have to get up at 2:30 in the morning from now on.
Yeah.
To save face.
To save face. But it's just silly because like what's his name? Trent Shelton. He's a I don't know if he's still playing. Mark, is he playing football still? Do you know who that is? No? So he was an NFL guy, and he said something that was really funny. He's like, those guys are just confused fans. He's just really confused supporters.
Right.
But if you're commenting and you're saying negative things and within like the first 5 minutes of posting or a story,
yeah,
bro,
you're on it. You're addicted to watching this.
You're plugged in to this person.
I always say, like, I try to read the room with how I'm going to respond, because sometimes I'll bitch slap a hate commenter back into the cave they came from, just because it's fun. Mm-hmm. Other times I go the exact opposite, and I'll say something like super nice to them and catch them off guard. But I always love to say, like, thank you for commenting, because what that does is it tells YouTube or it tells Facebook this content is engaging and sends more people. So please invite your friends. And then they'll comment back like, fuck you, bitch, or something. I'm like,
thank you.
Thank you again. I think you're misunderstanding what I said. If you really hate my content and you hate seeing me here, you just helped it again. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Again, please invite your friends. Like, and then eventually it stops. It's like,
because they get it.
Yeah. They're like, oh yeah. Like, you understand.
If you truly hate
making me money.
If you truly hate me, the thing that you could do would be unfollow me.
Yeah. Completely ignore my content would be the worst possible thing you could do from a financial perspective. For me. Yes.
Yeah. So please keep watching, motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's an interesting world we live in, man. Interesting world.
Is.
I told you that I had a guy that like, he was just being, he was through SMS. It's one of my SMS platforms. And he kept responding back like negative. And finally I just said, why don't you quit being a little bitch?
He's like, that doesn't seem automated.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. No, I have that on auto. Just replies to everybody. Quit being a little bitch. But I dug in. I said, the reason why I know you're a little bitch is because people that aren't little bitches don't say these things. They don't comment this. They don't take the time out of their day. I have never taken the time.
People who have enough self-worth don't waste their time doing that.
No time doing it, dude. Anyways, so I talked to him, and he was like, he got all hot and bothered. And if you're listening, man, it's a good story. So he got all hot and bothered and came back a little bit. And then I think this was the next day. He was like, yeah, man, you're right. Because I said, listen, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Mm-hmm. Like, you just being a little bitch, you're just making an example. You're just, whatever's going on in your life, apparently you've got some issues. It ain't got nothing to do with me because I'm fucking awesome. You know what I mean? And so he came back and he said a couple things, and he admitted that he was, he's like, no, you're right. And so I sent him my Calendly link, and he booked a 15-minute appointment with me for free, and we chatted. And honestly, like, the dude was hurting.
Yeah.
He's 40-something years old and not in a good place. He was married, and that's what's sad, man. Is like, this guy's married with kids and not in a good place in his life. Mm-hmm. So he's acting out in that manner. Yeah. Like, how many of these guys are in that thing? And he's like, dude, why would you take the time of day with me? I'm like, this is my business, bro. I'm in the business of trying to take men who are fucked up and give them some perspective and some purpose in their life to be a better husband, a better man, a better father. Yeah. Now we're friends.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
But I think that's the issue, right? Men stopped holding the other men accountable. Mm-hmm. None of my business. I don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a freaking pussy.
And that's, every tool has its pluses and minuses, right? And that's
Yeah.
like the Mike Tyson quote. Every man, that comments, but then has a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
Right.
And then when he punched that kid on the plane, like, yeah, well, that kid learned that lesson.
Learned a lesson
really quick.
That photo afterwards, after he got punched in the face.
He's just looking over at his friend like, what?
Sad.
But yeah, I mean, it allows people to, like you said, act out.
But I think
in a way that they either are escaping from things or there's no consequence to, or they feel like there's no consequence to.
But I think that if hypothetically, if men just went back to men holding each other accountable, I think it comes from a place of love. If I don't care about you, I will never say anything to you.
Yeah.
But if I call you and I'm like, you're fucking up, like get your shit together. I'm taking time out of my day and energy to like call you and say, what is your problem? Why are you acting this way? Like either, you're cheating on your wife, being an alcoholic, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just being a jerk. I feel like that's coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
And people don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to do it. If you were like, we're friends and you're drinking and I catch wind from whatever, like you actually had an incident and your wife was like, I don't like that version.
Yeah.
Yep. But if that was an ongoing thing and I call you, I'm like, Mike, what are you doing? You've got a beautiful family. You got kids that love you. You got a great career going on. What are you fucking doing with your life? What's going on here? That might be just the wake up call that you need to like save a marriage, save your business, save a relationship with your kids.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the solution? Well, it's none of my business.
Yeah.
I don't want to get involved. What a fucking pussy thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Dudes need other dudes that are holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got away from it.
And not accountability that's like, well, are you doing this or are you not doing that? And kind of check boxes, but like, yeah, man, like really get after it.
Yeah.
And
what's going on?
Push people to action.
Yeah.
And honesty. Yeah.
What the hell is happening? What's in your head that's causing you to do this? Where are you at?
Yeah.
Like think about if every guy just looked at his friends. First of all, you got to get healthy. You got to get healthy and whole and that sort of thing. But if every guy just got healthy and fit and then looked at all their friends and then was brutally honest with all of them at all times.
Yeah.
What would that do just to a community? And then
what
what
would
would
make us more scary to China is what it would do.
It would make us a lot more scary to China.
Yeah.
What?
Come on over here.
It's a bunch of angry men.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But I think that and looking at it from, if you look at it from a historical standpoint, from the 60s on, like in the 60s, we had men's community groups. Men stood together. There was a very, very much like community-driven society, I would say.
Yeah.
And then, the government steps in, war against drugs started happening, and I truly believe it was a system. It was a systematic destruction of the family unit to pussify men, to remove them from really power, to pussify a nation to gain control. They did it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we have.
Yep.
Masculinity is bad. Patriarchy is bad.
Yeah.
Cool.
I got news for everybody. Patriarchy's here to stay, man. That's the way we're made. You want to talk about controversial topics?
Explain that. Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, my worldview is that's how we're designed.
Okay.
So I think that's the order of things. I think it's like, well, I don't like gravity. Gravity don't give a fuck.
I disagree with gravity.
So I'll take flack for this. Send me a hate mail, Mike at MikeTheCop.tv. send it away. But I think it resonates with a lot of people, right? Like, men are men and women are women, and I think that we are a patriarchal society. I think that's the way that things are ordered.
Yeah.
Now you can, I'm going to say that in my worldview, I'm going to say that comes from a Christian perspective. I think that's the way that the scripture describes things and the created order. That's how I would frame the foundation for that. So I would argue from it for. But I think there's an anecdotal argument to be made from that. I think Jordan Peterson does a pretty good job of arguing it from an anecdotal, psychological perspective on how things are to be ordered.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean not a quality of personhood or dignity at all.
Oh.
It just means we have different skills, and we should live in our design to the max ability. We should maximize our humanity the way that we were designed to. And I mean, it can anger people, but men and women are different.
100%.
And so we should celebrate those differences and live into those. And that will actually create the greatest level of unity among men and women to function at the highest level of society. And I think in every society that we try to turn that upside down, it really messes it up.
It just goes to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It completely goes to shit. And
that's not to be confused with the caricature of what a male leader is or patriarch is.
Yeah.
The come home, what's the old thing? The married with children. Speaking of jiu-jitsu, he's a black belt, right?
I'd love to get my ass kicked by him.
Yeah. Stick your hand down your pants, crack the beer,
No, that's not what we're talking
bark
about.
orders. Not what I'm saying at all.
No.
Right?
It's more of service.
Yes.
Yeah.
True servant leadership is
Yes.
what a man was designed to do.
Yeah.
And we see that across the board. The greatest people that led you in the military, guarantee they poured themselves into other people.
100%.
Same thing in the police world. The best commanders on and off the road are those that poured themselves and led from the front by giving themselves to their men and women in the job, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a man, right? Like, so we're not talking about the characters. We're not talking about June Cleaver as being the ideal woman. That's not what I say when I'm talking about patriarchy is here to stay. It's what we're designed for.
Yeah.
But I think that when we live into those roles, man, that's when good things happen in society.
Well, not just that, but when a lot of the tier 1 clients that I work with at the Agogi, and all of them, but really I hammer it home on the ones that I handle. I'm like, when you get done working and you're exhausted, and we talked about this, and you walk in the door, don't just sit on the couch and like stare off because you're exhausted. Mm-hmm. You walk in there and go, hey, what do I need to do? How can I serve my family now? Mm-hmm. Because they don't give a shit that you've been, yes, they care. They appreciate that you've been working all day, right?
Yeah.
But in that moment, they need you to be the husband and the father. Mm-hmm. You got to walk in and go, okay, what do I need? What do I got to do?
Yeah.
Am I go playing with the kids? Am I cleaning up? Am I helping you with dinner? Am I dancing with you in the kitchen? What is it that you need me to do to serve this family?
Yep. I 100% think that the man in a relationship sets the tone.
He drives.
Sets the tone for the home.
I got a story for that. I'm going to pee, and then I got a story for that exact thing. So I have long said that like you just said, the man sets the tone, drives the pace, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously, we have a coaching business, and I tell them this. Like, well, my wife this, my kids this. I'm like, listen, motherfucker. Like, you're the one that sucks.
Yep.
If you suck, everything else is going to suck. Oh, my wife doesn't do this. Well, it's because you don't keep your promises to your wife.
Yeah.
She resents you because you're not being the man that you're supposed to be.
Yeah. If trust has been lost, you're lying to yourself, dude.
Yeah.
So you can't even trust yourself yet.
Right.
So you got to fix you, and then you'll see changes.
So I've got a client, and he comes in here. He's the tier 1 client who comes sitting here. I love him to death. He's crushing it now. But when he first started, he was like, oh, my wife isn't on the same plan and this and that. And he's like, woe is me, and the fucking violin, and depressed and all this kind of stuff. And I just let him talk, right? Let him talk. And then I get done, once he's done playing his fucking violin, I'm like, you know, all of this is your fault. He was like, he kind of taken back. All of it's your fault. Like, you're fat. You have no routine. You're playing Xbox like for, I don't know how, like X amount of hours a day. You're not living with purpose. You're seeking pleasure. Your woe is me. You're full of excuses. How do you think she's supposed to be awesome while you are like at doing nothing, essentially? Mm-hmm. You know, playing the victim card. And, you know, he kind of pulled his head out of his ass. So we started working on that routine. He lost like 40 pounds. Got, you know, dropped a bunch of weight, looking better. And then got on that routine. Got driven with, you know, progress in himself, progress in his business. Yeah. Comes and he's like, dude, everything's awesome. My wife is like, my wife is working out now.
It's almost like people appreciate when you put effort into something.
Right. But but it came down to, he's like, well, I don't know if she'll ever do this or ever do that. I'm like, she will. But you are the leader. Mm-hmm. And the same way with me, like, you know, with Allie and I got healthy. She followed. Mm-hmm. I set a routine. I set standards. I set the goals. And when I kind of, you know, this was years ago, but when I, you know, got a fire lit under my ass for real progress, not just flying by the seat of my pants and faking the funk. Mm-hmm. When I really started to do it, she followed suit.
Yep.
But I had to initiate I, as the father, as the husband, had to initiate. Mm-hmm. And it's, like you just said, as soon as that happened, it was like, obviously it doesn't happen that day, but you set that standard, you set that consistency, and over a period of time, like, oh, he ain't fucking around. Mm-hmm. This is the way things are. Yeah. Showing up every day and putting effort into it, and it changed everything.
Yeah.
The whole family followed suit.
Yep. Absolutely. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I've seen the opposite, obviously. You know, I think back about how much wasted time I've had in my life.
Yeah.
From being that guy. I would use sick days to play Call of Duty.
Why?
Exactly. At the time, because I needed to unwind, you know? I needed to relax. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, all the things you can do to justify why you're doing something that absolutely, on your deathbed, you will never, ever grab your son's hand and be like, yes, Dad, I just want to tell you one of my regrets. What's that? I didn't play enough Call of Duty. Like, who the fuck is saying that in their last breaths? Maybe there's a dude out there. Maybe. A lot of guys live that's what their last moments are going to be. Like, what are you getting from this? And I'm not, hey, listen, if you know, if you blow off some steam on the weekends or something like that, and you play some video games or whatever, and I don't know.
But what's the intention?
I don't know.
What's the return on investment?
I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, like, if this is maybe you're connecting to a group of guys or something like that, and like, hey,
through cyberspace?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not knocking video games as like a completely useless thing.
I'll knock the shit out of him. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, man. It's a waste. It's a waste. And I've watched it ruin people's lives, man. And don't get me wrong, esports is a thing. And if it's a business, listen, on the business aspect of it, like, can you make money with it? I think that's like, it's one of the fastest growing esport, like, ridiculous.
Yeah, I've
cool.
seen some competitions where they're flying virtual drones, not even real ones, like virtual ones.
Yeah, like racing virtual. Yeah. So I get that there's a return of investment, but not everybody's going to be an NFL star.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be an esports. Let's have some. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Listen, if you're a Twitch guy and you're doing it, it's a business. Fine. Yeah. Don't be fat. Don't be eating Cheetos and drinking Mountain Dew. Like legit, get your shit together.
Yeah. Even sitting here, well, going through my schedule. And it just clicking with me how much time I've been wasting on YouTube at night. I'm like,
that's why I do that drill.
I'm like, man, I'm like, dude, I need to be asking myself that clarifying question, right?
Yeah.
Is what I'm about to do, or is what I'm thinking about doing, going to help me achieve
those
these things
up there? Yeah.
is any of these areas going to improve
right
by what I'm about to do?
Yeah.
And I think it's a good clarifying question.
And I talk about that openly with other people too. I'm like, listen, they're like, well, Nick, there's nothing wrong with watching a movie. No, there's nothing wrong with watching a movie. There's nothing wrong with watching a show at night with your wife or your kid or.
No, if there's a movie that I know, like my wife's excited to see, I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool. And we're going to make a movie night of it. And we're doing like hey, let's make some popcorn. Let's do this.
That's completely intentional.
Then for this time, how long is the movie? Okay. Yeah. For this time, we're doing this. It happened the other night where we watched Thor: God of Thunder, Love and Thunder. Dude, that sucked. I don't care who you are. That movie fucking sucked, dude. They ruined Thor. Marvel sucks now. Anyway.
What, you don't like the men rock creatures?
Oh, God, don't get me started. I don't want to go down that. That'll really get me some hate mail. No, they just changed Thor's character on his head. But anyway, we were like literally like somebody was going to stop by. We're like, please don't. Like we're doing this now.
Yeah, this is a super intentional thing.
This is like, not date night doesn't always have to be. We go
100%.
to dinner and then dessert and then like it doesn't have to follow that pattern. It's like, hey, we're dedicating this time.
Yeah,
and it's undisturbed. We're being intentional about spending time together and hearing me rant through the movie about. Because she gave it an 8.5 out of 10, and I gave it like barely a 6.
Well, is she laughing at you, or is she getting frustrated that you're laughing?
Oh, she's laughing at me.
She's laughing at you. Yeah. You guys have been married, 28 years, something like that?
Almost 27.
27 years. That's awesome. But you're right. Everything needs to be intentional. Like you're sitting around, just vegging 3 hours a night at the end of the night, not engaging is not cool.
And I'm just running through my head, just why am I justifying this?
Yeah.
Well, I like jujitsu, and I'm watching these guys do jujitsu, or whatever. Like,
are you getting something out of it?
Is this what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to watch other people do cool things, or should I do cool things?
Yeah.
It's like,
how can you take those minutes and make them more productive, or make it at the end of the day, it's just intentional. It's just doing things with intention that give you an ROI.
Yeah.
Is it better? Is it benefiting your relationship? Is it benefiting your business? Is it benefiting your personal growth? Because when you start changing that exponentially grows everything else.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and this was a shift that started happening for me earlier this year, because I told you I stopped drinking, and then, what am I going to do to replace that time?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a wife I could talk to.
Yeah. She's been around for a while.
How was your day? But that's really, it was like, you'll never have a spouse that's going to hate you for saying, hey, can
we hang out?
Sit down and talk for a while?
She'd be like, are you dying? Are you okay?
Yeah. Like, what's been occupying your thoughts mostly lately? What have you been struggling with? Anything? Like, you've been talking to the kids? Like, have they been confiding in you anything that they're going through? Is there something we can help them? Like, oh shit, you can actually have real conversations about meaningful things.
Yeah.
And I get that. That's especially when you're in the throes of like raising kids, things. And I don't think that it's ever, I don't think a lot of people set out to go, how can I really make my life suck in 7 to 10 years from now?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's really a conscious decision for most people. They're not thinking, what can I do now that's going to be the most destructive for me a decade from now?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they're doing by not living intentionally.
Right.
By not having a plan, you just kind of throw up the sails, and wherever the wind takes you, that's where you end up. I think you look up later and
I think you and I, we talked about it earlier today. We've both done that.
Yeah.
It's not rewarding.
Yeah. It's super frustrating to look back and go like, man, where could I be now?
Yes.
And you can't dwell on that either.
No, but it's like, it's a good lesson, right? To live with
check.
It's a good check, because you look back and go, shit, I fucked that up.
Mm-hmm.
I had that was a big opportunity, and I was just like, meh.
Mm-hmm.
Flying by the seat of my pants, not really being intentional. But if you would have changed that, what would have done for your life exponentially?
Yeah, if I would have got coaching like this
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like,
if I would have got coaching like this 10 years ago.
I don't want to think about it because I'm like, oh my gosh.
How many
I could
zeros?
be on the beach collecting shells right now.
Yeah. Right. How many extra zeros would be in that bank account?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely more.
Yeah.
Definitely more.
Yeah, well, I say it all the time. You show me somebody successful, I show you the same person who's failed 15 times for that one success.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just tuition payments, man. Well, dude, it's been real.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
Again.
Am I the first repeat guest on Always Forward since you changed the name?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
In under your episode 41.
Nice.
So under 41, you've already been on twice.
Essentially the co-host.
Essentially co-host. It's the Always Forward podcast with Mike the Cop. Excellent, man. Well, where can people find?
I'm gonna start my podcast Only Forward. The Only Forward podcast. We only go one direction here.
You're probably gonna start a new one too, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty amped about that, man. I'm gonna yes.
We don't know the name of it yet.
Yeah, not yet, but it'll be good. I'm excited.
But a little bit more of what we're talking about now. Probably.
Yeah, a lot more of these conversations, a lot more of, and even more from just off from the hip, about these things as I get passionate about them. I think
age does something to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I can tend to overthink. It's a strange phenomenon with me that I don't understand about myself, even really.
Yeah.
I am not risk averse whatsoever.
Yeah. You can't be.
At all.
Yeah.
I don't have the switch. I don't. If I ended up in China on a hammock sleeping somewhere tonight, I think I would sleep all night. I wouldn't be like, what are you doing in China on a hammock? I don't know, man. I had this opportunity to come to China and sleep on a hammock, dude.
Now I'm here.
Couldn't say no.
Yeah.
I could do that. Doesn't matter. And my family's used to it. You're not gonna be a cop anymore? No. What are you gonna do? I don't know. I'm gonna go take this marketing job over here and make 20 grand more a year.
I heard real estate's cool.
Yeah. See if I can sell some homes. I don't know. So they're used to me. On the outside, I look like a freaking schizophrenic, I'm sure. On the inside, it's just me trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I can definitely be like the paralysis by analysis too, and I can overthink.
Yeah.
What it is. If I get an idea in my head, I overthink it, which is really cool that this happened at the perfect time.
It really did.
Because I'm like,
after talking to you,
right as I'm starting to think about this, instead of getting stuck in a loop thinking, how will I go about doing all this?
We're pulling triggers.
You're like, nope, here's what we need to do, and you got to do it in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I have to completely re-engineer my entire day in life in 3 weeks. No problem.
We're going to get super intentional with our day.
Yeah.
But
I might have to get up at 5 a.m. like you.
Oh man, sorry. But how much faster is that going to move the needle in your life though?
No, I think I've been around enough to know that I think that if I actually put action into this is going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but you could have spent 90 days and now
I could have
thunk it to death.
Knowing me, I would have been like, well, let's just block off some planning time between now and Christmas and maybe the turn of the year. I'd look at my bank account like, I can make it for 3 more months.
And we literally did it in 30 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, okay, here's the plan. Go.
So yeah, that I think that'll be good. And I wish I would have got coach sooner. So if I obviously a lot of people who listen to your podcast, I'm sure have thought about coaching before.
Yeah.
And they're making their excuses, or they're kind of justifying why they
haven't. I got a whole list of them in my phone.
And dude, get a coach, dude.
It changes everything.
Get a coach,
Well, I told you, a few weeks ago, I needed a certain program, and this guy had a program. He's like, and I messaged him he's like $7,500. I'm like, okay, here. Yeah. I think I made that. I think I doubled that money within a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's a certain time of program that I have him for.
Yeah.
don't even really need it. I just needed the information. Done. Check. Got it.
Right. Yep.
Value added.
Yep.
And you did the same thing with
I did a real estate coaching thing, and that's really when my eyes started to open. I was like, it was like a big deal to me. I think it was like
problem
$8,000 or
solving
something like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is a big this
$8,000.
better be worth it, right?
Yeah.
And then that first week, like I said, I added like $15,000 into my business, and I'm like, oh.
Which compounds because now you have the information.
Now I'm armed with the information, which helped me give shape to the 10-7 project.
Yeah.
That's where that was born out of. Like, we accelerated our growth like 8 to 10x.
Yeah.
Because I was able to take what I learned and
speed,
apply
man.
it, you know?
Speed.
It's like, and then you think, what if your kid wants to play t-ball? What do you just be like, well, go join a team? Well, what do we do? I don't know. Shit. Look up the rules, I guess. Like, no, there's a coach, man.
Yeah.
There's a coach, right?
That tells you what to do.
From the earliest
Yeah.
times, like, well, I want to go to school. Well, could. I mean, just Google that shit. Well, yeah, but I need to learn like complex. I want to like go. I want to be an engineer. Yeah, so you can't teach that to yourself. Teachers are essentially coaches, right? Like
Yeah.
they're giving you
It's the
what
same.
you need to do. Why don't we do that as men? Why don't we think,
So-
man, I need to get a relationship coach or have a financial coach, like a business coach.
There's a systematic problem with education, particularly. We are bred and thought that education stops at 18 when you graduate or when you graduate college.
Yeah, we're kind of taught that you can arrive,
Yeah.
which is definitely a mirage.
Whole 100% mirage.
Yeah.
But majority of the populace, got a man, a woman graduates college, and that's it.
Yep.
They go start living their life, but they kind of stay right where they're at. Other than experiences, they stay right where they're at.
Yeah.
That's not true. Learning is continuous until the day you die.
Yeah.
And if you really jump in, like you fucking dive in,
Mm-hmm.
you become something else,
Mm-hmm.
a different type of human being.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be I want to exist on a different plane than everybody else.
Yeah.
With my guys like yourself, I want to exist on another level with other people because your consciousness is just different.
Yeah. When you start running with people who think that way, gosh, it's like fast forwards life.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is awesome, but it's so much more rewarding. It's like that thing, like you walk into your wife and say, "How do I serve?" And I have another client another tier 1 client. I told him to do that. He did it for 30 days. He's like, "Bro, game changer."
This woman likes me.
She likes me. Like, bro, I'm getting blowjobs every night, and I'm not even asking for him. It's just like, because he shows up.
Yeah.
He gets done with work, and he's showing up with his wife and his kids. How can I serve today?
Mm-hmm.
What do you need? You mean wash dishes too? I know we talked about this before, but and you start doing that consistently. And like you said, she's like, "Oh, wow, I like this guy. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm going to bang him tonight."
Yeah. I like this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's it. Go freaking serve your family, people.
And stop using your family as an excuse. It's not your wife's fault. It's not your kid's fault.
No, it's always your fault.
It's not your mommy and daddy's fault. It's not the upbringing's fault.
Is it Biden's fault?
Yes. He actually is a factor. That guy really does fuck your shit up, man.
Yeah, he does.
He's the exception to the rule.
Exception to the rule.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can end it there. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, man.
Awesome.
Next 2 years is going to be riveting.
He's not making it 2 years, dude.
He's made it this far.
No way. I can't keep this up. Fucking weekend at Biden soon enough, man, dude. There's just no way.
Oh man, we got to do it. You have to come back down.
I gotta let go. I have to let go of politics, man. I have
You
to let
do?
go. I really do.
What are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do.
I don't know, man. I'm on a watch list somewhere, dude.
We're gonna vote in November. I don't know if that counts anymore, but
I don't know, man.
we're gonna give it a shot. Did you watch the podcast with John Uzgatigi? No, that's the one you got to watch. He's a Venezuelan immigrant.
Yeah, you were telling me to watch that one.
Yeah, and he, dude, he said some stuff that I was like, he smacked me right in the face. I was like, oh, he like straight up called me out.
Mm-hmm.
But he was right. He was right. We got complacent, bro.
Oh, for sure.
100% complacent.
People get mad when I say that we did this.
Oh yeah, we allowed it to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's our fault
for sure.
But again, back to taking ownership, right? It's our fault. We got complacent. We got, what is it called? Fat on the pig or whatever.
Yeah.
What are they? I don't know. Is that a cop joke?
High on the hog.
High on the hog.
Something maybe.
Anyways, guys, go follow Mike the Cop on all social media platforms. I think you have to actually like really dig to find him. I don't know.
Yeah, let me know how that experience goes for you guys.
Can we find?
I feel like you hit follow and it just doesn't work. It just like it switches and
it goes away
just right back to follow. Like somebody thought they did it, but
yeah, go follow him and everything he has going on. Well, I definitely have to get you back on the podcast. And then, guys, if this is value of you, go. You know the deal. Screenshot this, share it, tag me, try to tag Mike the Cop. And share with your friends. We'll share it out there and leave us a review. You guys know the deal. Never quit, never surrender. We always keep moving forward. We'll see you guys in the next episode.